Thank you everyone for coming. My name is Diego Ibarra. I usually do these presentations with my co-founder, Lindsay, but she's unable to make it for this morning. So our business is called Alphas Alliance. We are a software startup, and we primarily create software toolkit for the collegiate athletic space. So our story started in 2021 when it was the year after COVID, where we just realized, like, what can we do to make the lives of coaches easier? We met each other while coaching at Hofstra University, and we were actually encouraged to create this company by our Hall of Fame head coach. And one of the things that we realized is that there are a lot of tasks that coaches do that can be automated, and we have to do on a regular basis. So pretty much administrative work. So I'll just go here to the next slide. So we were encouraged to enter the market with the creation of Alpha Signs. So for those of you familiar with the baseball and softball worlds, it's the pitching signs that are delivered from the coach to the catcher and the pitcher. These are typically worn on the wristbands. When our head coach encouraged us to create this, I was already familiar with a few software out on the market. And then he said to us, he's like, well, you have a tech background, and Lindsay, you're the pitching coach. If you guys can do it better, why don't you? A lot of schools will pay for this. So she said to me, she's like, you know what? Like, let's do it. Like, I think we could make a better product. And 4 months later, we unveiled Alpha Signs. We started demoing it with hundreds of coaches and teams from around the country. We collaborated with some of the greatest minds in pitching to make the software more integrative and more practical for them to use. And that's how we were able to enter the software development space for Alpha Signs. Along the way, we were able to create relationships and support from some of the best programs around the country, the University of Baylor, UNC, Missouri, and countless others. Currently up to date, we have the support of about 39 out of the top 50 programs in the country at the Division I level, and it continues to grow. The only barrier for us is that we were a little late to market, we have the best product on the market, and our relationships with the best minds in the game is what's slowly spreading through word of mouth. These are some of the people that we have collaborated with. Cindy Bristow, she is widely regarded as one of the best pitching minds in the game. She teaches and has a pitching event where she invites the best minds from around the world to teach the best programs in both baseball and softball. Larissa Anderson, she was my former head coach at Hofstra, now the head coach at University of Missouri. We actually have a meeting with her on some even more updates that we'll be adding to make the software even more intuitive. And then we have one of the best high school program coaches in the country as well. So the financials. So Alphas Alliance, we really wanted to make sure that although Alpha Signs was our first product, we didn't want to only be focused on the baseball and softball world. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to create software that is practical to all coaches of all spaces of athletics. So currently with Alpha Signs alone, we have about 4,000 athletes using Alpha Signs in about 8 months since the launch. In the top 25 of Division I softball, we have 21 out of the top 25 programs using it. And the first year of projected revenue is about $126K. So we released our second product. This product is called AlphaScan. This AlphaScan was recently released on the App Store as of officially last Friday. We spent all summer beta testing it, and this software is now targeted directly towards college coaches. So we're taking a top-down approach in terms of providing practical solutions to free up coaches' time. Eventually, think of it as a virtual assistant for college coaches. What AlphaScan does is whenever, if you're a coach, let's say you're a volleyball coach or basketball coach or baseball, softball, going out recruiting, you literally come home every weekend with like dozens, if not hundreds, of team and player profile sheets. This has not changed in the past 20 years. So we were like, there's got to be an easier way. And for all college coaches, in order to fulfill your NCAA compliance rules, when you come back from a recruiting weekend, you have to then create an Excel sheet, enter it into like the software which the school uses, so you can track who are you recruiting, who your contacts are, and so on. Essentially, the time it takes to do that data entry, it could take you a whole week. I love coaching. I do not enjoy administrative work. So this is where our technology could be put to use. So with AlphaScan, we essentially created an app where you can scan up any player profile sheet. We use AI and character recognition to immediately detect all the emails on a sheet, and then you're able to export it as a CSV within seconds. We have been able to optimize the code where it can detect duplicates. It can correct any misspellings, suggest new ones. Up until today, we've reached well over 95% accuracy with AlphaScan, and that's with thousands of beta tests done all over the summer, working different camps and events. Another thing to note is that we are first to market in this space as well. Whoops. One of the concerns we had as being a software startup is making sure that we are sustainable. This is real important. Given my experience in the tech world, I spent numerous years in New York City tech circles. Sustainability is always something that is important. So as of last year of 2021, something we did is that we acquired the Be the Best convention. Their featured event is the Baseball and Softball Convention, which we moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, and it's entering the 50th year anniversary. What this does is that this gives us an opportunity to create a networking environment with a featured annual convention that has been around, for now 5 decades, where we invite the best minds in the game. So this gives us an avenue to further create the dialogue, kind of just have our pulse on what's the new upcoming, what works, what doesn't, and kind of be ahead of the curve. But it also gives us an additional revenue stream, which would allow us to continue to be incredibly versatile and adaptive to the tech world, as it changes day to day. The next step is as we continue to progress into the athletic space, we wanted to measure the opportunity. So there are about almost 500,000 total college athletes across all levels, 8.8 prospective student athletes, if you include the numbers from the moment they are considered recruitable. If you include the youth segment, that's about 60 million, and there's a $77.6 billion market size that it plans to grow by 2026. What we have in our plans and already are working on is an Alphas database. An Alphas database will be a fully integrative database, which will be backed by AI and machine learning for actionable user engagement. And essentially, just think of it as a virtual assistant. Typically, when every coach goes into the office, there are, I would say, 90% of the tasks you are doing every day, and the other 10% you're on the field coaching. So we want to make sure that based off of the collective environment that we are able to provide suggestive tools at their disposal that are practical and easy to use. This is my partner, Lindsay Mayer. She is currently a head coach at Arcadia University in Pennsylvania. This is myself. We've already created strategic leadership and advisors with the following organizations, including the National Fast Pitch Association, the American Baseball Coach Association, members from USA Baseball, USA Softball, and these are just a list of the few universities which we've created relationships with now. And that's pretty much it. So I'd love to hear any questions you guys have on Alphas Alliance. We're very excited about our future. We are already planning, for investments, since many people over the summer asked us if they can invest. We weren't quite there yet because we were still testing our model. But it was just one of those things where we got enough interest. So the interest is now pushing us in that avenue. So I'd like to thank you guys, and I'd love to hear any questions that everyone has.
Any questions?
Hi, this is Jim. Thanks for the really thorough presentation. I'm curious, what sort of regulatory requirements govern the data that you're collecting and that you store in the platform? And have you found that to be a challenge or a barrier to innovation to this point?
No. So we have to go through an extensive approval process through Apple. It took us about two months to get approval by Apple. Apple reviews your technical language, the entire app functionality, your end user license agreement, and we have to provide all the proof and agreements to them. Before you download the app, you are essentially, clicking approve, because Apple approves your end user license agreement and it has to be approved by them. So although our app was finished in the summer, it did take 2 months for us to finalize the entire technical language and everything. All of that is available on our terms of services link and end user license agreement links on our website. So we are fully, compliant with all rules and regulations, with not only by Apple, but NCAA as it relates to, the recruiting age.
So the data that you're collecting in AlphaScan, is that largely, I'm assuming that most of it is public information about the individual? And
yes. So
is it like observational data also that you or a member of a staff would have been making through visits and that sort of thing?
Exactly. So this is an example of a player profile sheet. Well, you can't really see it but essentially you go, when a coach goes to these tournaments, we come back with literally like stacks of papers. And the next process is just data entry. So every coach at every level, head coaches don't usually do it. They'll give it to the assistants or the volunteer assistants, but they'll just sit at the computer and type away. So you could go to, as a coach, if you were a coach, go to any tournament, and that's part of the recruiting practice as it still stands today across all sports. Any other questions? I know Iowa City is a big tech hub, so we love tech questions.
I'll go. I'm guessing your target audience is universities and colleges. How many do you expect to have within like the next 5 years, or like what's your end goal?
So right now with AlphaScan, we are specifically targeting college coaches. We expect by this year to honestly probably get about 70% of college coaches across all sports. And it's because we are first to market. Our development process is different from our competitors in that we have two cornerstones to when we build software. We have the number one cornerstone is that it must be seamlessly integrated as to how they do things. And number two, it has to be practical. So those are our creative constraints. How we build the software will be, is entirely up to us how we build it. Currently, the software that is being used by the majority of schools come from companies that have created software, let's say in the HR space or in the sales space, which really isn't practical to recruiting. In our development pipeline, we also plan to create other free tools and free apps for players that want to try to create the player profile sheets, stuff like that. So, but yes, right now we are focusing specifically on just essentially making an administrative AI tool for coaches so they can save time. When you speak to coaches or if you have coaching friends, the biggest pain point is that, and the reason why college coaches burn out is because it's not a regular 9-to-5 job, but it has to do a lot with the administrative work. It really doesn't have much to do about the coaching stuff. So that's what we're trying to tackle is how can we add in automation tools into the mix in a way that is seamlessly integrated into their lives.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your presentation. I enjoy watching baseball, but I know absolutely nothing about coaching it. You're talking about AI and machine learning and such. How many different types of data do you need to ingest or import to do your calculations? So there's spreadsheets. Is there written notes, or how many different types of data are you working?
So right now we are still in the data gathering stage. Having alpha signs is allowing us to gain insights into how different coaches create their software specific to that sport. Alpha Scan will be able to gather information on how much users utilize the software as it relates to the recruiting environment. In terms of layering the AI on top, that'll come once we release the full database of tools and stuff. That should give us a big enough data set of based off of the data that's gathered and user insights and actions where we can begin essentially just offering more solutions than tools. We currently have at our disposal access to GPT-3 AI technology, which is currently the most advanced in the world. And that is the difference between us and our competitors. That is that we are the only software company in the college space that has access to that technology.
Thank you.
And so it seems like right now you're going after college coaches. Are you doing anything with high schools?
That is our next phase. Our next product will be geared towards the high school age, which is the recruitable age. So yes, those tools will be tools that will serve athletes and high school coaches. Right now, we're focusing on the college sector.
Yeah, I know with high schools, there's not as much money to be thrown around for things. So
no, yeah, and those tools will probably be free.
Because it's tougher to get into K-12. There's not as much money. So
yeah,
good to build it out with the colleges first, get some funding there, and then kind of a follow up. Since you are reaching out to colleges, how's it been? Reaching out to these folks. Are they receptive to this? Are there certain parts of the country that are more receptive than others?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I mentioned in our presentation, but I'm currently a head coach here at NC A&T. My co-founder is also a head coach at Arcadia. So what we do is, for us, it's seamless to just tap into our networks, which are friends and colleagues. And we reach out and share directly with them. With Alpha Signs, some of our best friends were engaged in the development process. With Alpha Scan, I'm always sharing it with my colleagues because essentially we designed the app for ourselves. But why not share it? Because we know it can help everyone. And so far, the feedback has been great. We look directly for feedback from them. And we just make sure that they are part of the solutions that we are trying to create. Last year at the National Coaches Convention, Lindsay and I were the only active college coaches there that also had an exhibitor booth as a software company. And I didn't realize it at the time until someone pointed it out. And I was like, wow, that is kind of special because not only are we coaches, but we have a different hat where we are creating some of the best software out there that's being used.
Thank you.
What's the revenue model for Alpha Scan or the licensing structure that you have in place?
We have subscription rates for both. Alpha Signs, it's a yearly subscription rate. Alpha Scan that just got released on the App Store, We have single membership and staff membership. Staff is if a head coach wants to get it for their staff, you're allowed up to 3 recruitable coaches. That may change to 4, so that the subscription model follows the NCAA regulations. And then we also have it tiered. So for staff, we have a 6 months recurring revenue subscription, or 12 months. For individual, it's month to month, 6 months, or yearly.
And it's unlimited, is it unlimited use then for the time period that they're?
Yes.
And
So
do you
the only-
store their-
So you could download the app right now for free, but if you, let's say you scan a team sheet, when you want to export the information in Excel format, it'll give you like a limit of maybe, I think 10 emails. After 10, it'll ask you to subscribe, but at least that way people can go in and test it. But yes, for anyone that's subscribed, it's 100% full access to the app.
And you're storing their the data, like the information that they're uploading, are you storing those?
Everything is stored to the device.
Okay.
Yeah, including like the attachments. So essentially what we're trying to do is take all of this and be able to just have it in their phone, and they could access the actual files that they scanned, in addition to a complementing Excel document that they will be able to download and use for their school or camp purposes.
All right, Diego, to kind of piggyback on that question, what happens if their phone gets hit with a foul ball? Where's the backup information?
It's all stored on their iCloud account. So if you're a head coach, the head coach has access to, let's say, their 3 assistant coaches' information. So the head coach is always the primary account holder. If you are an individual, it's stored to your like iCloud account. But as a head coach, we made sure that anyone under the head coach, let's say they have a replacement as an assistant, that they still have access to all the information there.
So I have a question. I was kind of curious with the Alpha Scan. What's the reason that people are usually using mostly paper instead of entering the information directly into a tablet? I assume there's some reason for that.
I think it's just, I think no one's really created something that's practical enough. So there's tons of apps out there that people try to use. There's tons of recruiting services. But that's why we created Alphas Alliance, is because what we realized, and in my experience in tech over the past 10 years, is that what makes a app last the test of time is that it has to be practical and seamless to use. And that's the approach that we are taking. So a lot of these other softwares that are out there, especially for the high school age group, is that it comes off as a recruiting service. And then that's also a big pain point, or is a big turnoff to college coaches, because they don't want to feel like they're being pushed an athlete upon them, which is just something that, it's just the way sometimes people feel. But that's the riddle. I'm not sure why there hasn't been something, and we are.
Yeah,
I feel like
are you thinking that given that you're seeing all the information you're scanning in, that you're going to use that to start figuring out how to build a user-friendly application for, let's say, user profiling collection?
Exactly. So we are taking our own experience into the mix. A lot of the other of our competitors, like I said, some of them come from like the sales world or HR worlds. What we're doing is that we are actually coaches, and we're kind of analyzing the way we do things. We also have the tech background. And for those reasons is why we created those 2 fundamental cornerstones to our approach. Seamlessly integrated into our workflow, and it must be easy to use. The rest is where magic happens. But absolutely, the whole user experience for us is fundamental, and that's what we're striving for.
So you're focusing on baseball, softball right now. Any plans to spread out to any other sports?
Our first product release, our entry to market was in the baseball and softball space. Alpha Scan is for the entire collegiate world.
Nice. Cause yeah, there's, thinking about different markets, especially college, it's like,
Yeah.
like college football, obviously, huge market there. So.
Yeah, well, Alpha Signs, we do have plans for Alpha Signs to enter the football market. Two of our top advisors won 2 national titles with Clemson. So that's in the future plans.
Any other questions?
I know you're in the tech, what's your tech stack look like?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat that?
Look like?
What does your tech stack look like?
The text app?
Tech stack.
Oh, tech stack. Currently right now, Alpha Signs is built entirely, it's a web app. Alpha Scan is built entirely on the iOS system. We do not have plans to release it yet for Android models just because of the amount of coaches that use iPhone versus Android. Eventually, right now, we're going to make sure everything is entirely mobile friendly. Alpha Signs, though, is remember, it's just a separate app right now.
Alrighty, I'll go ahead and ask the final question. What as a community can we do for you?
Well, we would love to get your feedback on perhaps some of the other companies that have presented with you throughout the year. We have a lot of big plans to continue to grow. We've presented in over 24 1 million cups across the country, and every community we realize is very unique and different in terms of the diversity of people that they have. So just kind of giving us some feedback, and hopefully in the future we could present again, perhaps when we now have our 3rd product out.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Iowa City. I appreciate you guys.